Cows that are dropping dead from H5N1 avian flu are piled up along the roadside in California, Michael Snyder reports. Are we on the verge of the worst public health crisis that any of us have ever witnessed? I just read a report from the Los Angeles Times that chilled me to the core. I knew that H5N1 avian flu was infecting dairy cows all over the nation, but I had no idea that things had gotten so bad. California produces more dairy than any other state, and so prices for milk, cheese, and other dairy products will inevitably go up as herd after herd gets devastated by this insidious disease. More importantly, if H5N1 avian flu starts spreading among humans on a widespread basis, the panic that we will see will be off the charts. And this was not supposed to happen. We were told that even though millions of birds were dying, H5N1 avian flu would not start spreading widely among mammals. But now it is. At this moment, dead cows are stacked along roadside, rotting in the heat in some areas of California. A dystopian scene is emerging in California as dairy farmers battle a ruthless disease. Dead cows and calves stacked along roadsides, rotting in the heat, surrounded by crows, vultures, and thick swarms of black flies. After wiping out tens of millions of birds worldwide, H5N1 avian flu is tearing through dairy farms in the U.S. I know that everyone wants to talk about the presidential election right now, but this is important. Cows are dropping dead in large numbers, and there is no end to this crisis in sight. According to Los Angeles Times, things are particularly bad in Tulare County. There's a sickness hovering over Tulare County dairy industry. On a recent 98-degree afternoon, dead cows and calves were piled up along the roadside. Thick swarms of black flies hummed and knocked against the windows of an idling car, while crows and vultures waited nearby, eyeballing the taunt and bloated carcasses roasting in the October heat. So far, 124 dairy herds have been hit in the state of California alone. The San Joaquin Valley seems to be the current epicenter of this crisis. According to one industry insider, his drivers picked up 20 to 30 animals at one farm in one day. A similar observation was made by Jimmy Andreoli II, spokesperson for Baker Commodities, a rendering company with facilities in Southern California. He said his workers are picking up a surge of dead cows throughout the San Joaquin Valley. There's definitely been an increased number of fallen animals lately, and some of that has got to be attributed to the long, hot summer we've had, and some of it, certainly is attributed to the H5N1 virus, he said, noting that one of his drivers picked up 20 to 30 animals at one farm in one day. Andreoli said that at some farms, the cows were intentionally being left on the roadside to reduce contamination, preventing further inter-farm spread, and at others, the animals are left on site but away from live animals and people. The dead cows are picked up, they're transported to a rendering site for processing. Infected carcasses are being brought to a rendering site, a facility that processes animal remains to be turned into high-protein animal feed and fertilizer, or liquids used in fuel, paints, varnishes, lubricants, and other industrial products. Removing and processing these carcasses eliminates the risk of them passing bird flu onto other animals or humans. California is the nation's largest dairy producer, and this state currently holds the record for the most bird flu-infected cattle herds in a single state, in addition to a high number of cases among dairy workers. If this disease continues to spread like wildfire in California, it's going to have enormous implications for all of us, because if dairy prices go through the roof there, they're going to go through the roof everywhere, and it doesn't appear that much is being done to prevent this disease from spreading. For example, one California veterinarian says that she has been seen sick and healthy cows right next to one another. In a video posted on X, California-based veterinarian Crystal Health shows a cattle pen that appears to contain both sick and healthy cows, with a questionable number of them lying down. The sick cows are supposed to be separated from the healthy ones, she wrote. Not sure what's happening here, but a lot of the cows were laying down and some flat out. The rendering truck did come to this facility in the morning, but no dead pile was visible from the road. I don't know why the dairy industry is not taking this outbreak more seriously. What's going to happen if half of the dairy cows in the state of California get infected? And what's going to happen if H5N1 avian flu starts passing from human to human on a widespread basis? According to one local resident in Tipton, California, a lot of people have gotten infected in her area. A lot of people have it, said a woman working behind the cash register at Tipton's Dollar General, one of the few stores in this small agricultural community right off Highway 99. The woman declined to provide her name, explaining her husband is a dairy worker in the country illegally in Tulare County. She said his job is not protected or secure, and she was fearful of retribution. So far, the symptoms seem pretty mild, she said. People can keep working. Of course, it is not just dairy workers in California that are getting infected. In fact, we just learned that 4 dairy workers in Washington state have preliminarily tested positive for bird flu. 4 agricultural workers in southeast Washington have preliminarily tested positive for bird flu after working around an infected poultry flock at a commercial egg farm. The cases, if confirmed, would be the first time people in Washington have contracted the virus since officials began tracking a notable rise of it in birds and other animals starting in the U.S. around 2022. Since then, upward of 24 human cases have been detected across 5 other states, all but one tied to contact with infected animals. Health officials emphasize that the 4 positive cases in Washington are presumptive, quote unquote, pending confirmation and analysis by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So far, there's no evidence that H5N1 avian flu is passed from person to person on a widespread basis, but if that changes, we could be facing a nightmare. According to CDC, more than half of the humans that have been infected with H5N1 avian flu since January 1st, 2003 have ended up passing from it. I don't know if H1N1 avian flu will become the next great global pandemic, but without a doubt, we live at a time when great pestilences will kill vast numbers of people. So let's watch this story very closely. If the same thing is happening to dairy cows in California starts happening to people, the level of panic that will erupt, of course, will be absolutely frightening to behold. And this is by Michael Snyder, End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, Why, is available on paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophets of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News, and he always freely, happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.